Welcome everybody to the Kevin Blakicki YouTube channel. We are back. It is March. It's March Madness, and we have another amazing video for you. A recap of the first round of the women's March Madness between South Carolina, the number 1 seed, and Southern, the number 16 seed. South Carolina is in Regional 4 in Sacramento this year. So they're going to have to go all the way to the West Coast if they want to make it to the Final Four. And their first battle was, of course, a home game. The first two rounds are at home against Southern. They absolutely mollywopped them 103-34. This is the third time in school history that South Carolina has put up 100 points in a tournament game. It is their biggest margin of victory in a March Madness game in school history. And they also held Southern to 2 points in the third quarter. They outscored them 32-2. An absolute dominant performance by South Carolina. We expected this going in, and they absolutely delivered. Now, of course, this is the first time we are seeing this iteration of this team since the SEC championship game, when, of course, they got embarrassed by Texas in Greenville, giving Texas their first SEC championship. And this was a game where you kind of expected South Carolina to get their get back. They've had a long layoff, and they're playing a 16 seed in the first round, and you expected them to just run right through this team, and that's what they ended up doing in the second half. But in the first half, it was kind of a slow start for South Carolina. They were obviously capitalizing on defense. They were turning Southern over. They were not letting them score any points really early on, but they only scored 19 points in the first quarter. So it wasn't a huge performance for South Carolina. They also got off to a slow 1 for 13 start from 3-point range in the first half. So, I mean, this game could have, South Carolina, if they hit their shots, they could have put up 110, maybe 115, or possibly even 120. I might be thinking a little too highly at that point. But as bad as this game was, if South Carolina was able to hit some more of their three-pointers earlier in the game and take advantage of some more opportunities, they could have almost outscored this team by 100 points. I mean, this was a dominant performance, and it could have been even worse. Now, for the scores, Joyce Edwards had 27 points and 8 rebounds, just 1 point off of her career high that she set earlier this season. Then you also have Agat McKeer, who had a career high 16 points off the bench. You also have Tanaya Latson, who put up 17 points, 14 points for tournament Tessa Johnson, 4 for 8 from 3-point range. She struggled early on, but then towards the end of the game, she was starting to make her shots and get her feel going. Only 5 points for Raven Johnson, 2 for 5 from the field, 1 for 3 from 3-point range. So a relatively quiet game for her. She only played 26 minutes, which was kind of surprising. And also, what was surprising was how little Medina Okot was on the floor. She was only on the floor for 17 minutes, and yet she scored 15 points and had 8 rebounds. When she was out there, she could not be stopped. And this is, again, one of the things that I think is going to keep South Carolina afloat. Luckily they had 16 points from Agat McKeer off the bench. But I think that this team is going to be heavily reliant on their starting five, in particular, Joyce Edwards and Medina Okot. We saw how efficient she was on the floor in just 17 minutes. And of course, Joyce Edwards was 1 point off of her career high. So Southern had no answer for her. And in the games that South Carolina has struggled in or have lost, Joyce Edwards has been neutralized, and that's going to be the key going forward for teams playing South Carolina. If you're able to knock out Joyce Edwards, make her a non-factor, and also possibly go through Medina Okot and not let her have that big of an impact on the game, you have a really good shot at winning this game. Now, obviously, I said that they're going to have to be better at shooting the three-pointer. Obviously, if this was a different game against a different team, possibly this was going to go a different way. You don't know with the talent level, how this is going to end up being. But since Southern wasn't a great team, they really weren't able to capitalize on those mistakes that South Carolina was making, so it didn't really end up making a big deal. This is such a dominant performance that the 2 points that they allowed in the third quarter, I should say, is tied for their lowest point total that they've given up in their school history, which also happened to be in the tournament in 2022 against Howard. They held Howard to 4 points in the first half, and they outscored them 60-8 through 3 quarters. So that's an ass whooping. This was also an ass whooping. And for those of you who are history buffs, in 2022, that was one of the years that South Carolina won the national championship, which was also the year that they lost in the SEC championship. So this year, South Carolina lost in the SEC title game, held a team to 2 points in a quarter, and now look to win their 4th national championship. Now, what does this mean for the future of this team? Obviously, you have to take it with a grain of salt because Southern is a mid-major team. They're in the SWAC. There's really not much you can learn from this game that we didn't already know. South Carolina, one of the best teams in the country. So whoever won that first 4 matchup was going to lose. Now they go on and face USC without Juju Watkins. If Juju was still on this team, this would possibly be an Elite 8 or Final 4 matchup. But because she's not on the team, they're not as deep and talented as they were last year. It's a second round matchup. And usually the first two rounds are pretty easy for the top seeds. I don't think it's going to be an easy matchup. This is a team that also South Carolina faced earlier in the season, part of their real SC matchup. They play one game in LA, one game in Greenville next year, and so now they're going to get a third. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, South Carolina is favored to win this game on Monday, and it will be the last home game of the season. It will be Raven Johnson's last game at Colonial Life Arena for her career. Obviously, for Medina Okot, if they're not able to find a way to get an extra year of eligibility and come back next year, it's going to be the same for Tanaya Latson and Miriam Dowd and the rest of the seniors. So congratulations on such excellent years for all the seniors. And I will be back with another video recapping that game on Monday. So if you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Let me know how you liked the video. And as always, I'll see you next time.